sometimes through your walk and through your righteous path, the Most High is going to require you to level up in isolation. And the whole purpose of your isolation phase, your isolation season, is you elevating, is you leveling yourself up. And you don't want to dwell on your insecurities when you're in isolation. You don't want to sin a lot on your isolation. You don't want to sin at all, as a matter of fact. You don't want to be around toxic people during your isolation phase. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause a rift between you and the Most High. That's going to sever the connection between you and the Lord. And that's a mistake that I made in my isolation season. When God first took everybody out of my life, for the most part, it was mainly family, with the exception of my mom, my brother. Me and my brother, we were kind of on separate, talking terms and whatnot. We were separated, distant from one another, but we were still talking here and there, right? We weren't as close. Me and my mom were always close, but friends, other relatives, we were just not talking, So the Lord had to remove a lot of friends from my life, and He wanted me to understand what the assignment was. And at the time, I did not understand the assignment that the Most High was giving me, and I did not accept being isolated. I didn't want to embrace the isolation. I wanted to go against it. I wanted to still fit in the world. I still wanted to do things with people. I didn't really want nothing better for my life at that point. But it was just a real dry season where no one was hitting me up. It's almost like I had to force myself to hit people up to get something going, get something popping. But nothing was really happening between anybody that I was talking to at the time, or sporadically talking to them. Because like I said, anybody that I was really trying to connect with, they were not willing to connect with me. And that was done by design. That was for a reason. The Most High had to make it kind of impossible for me to connect with people, because He knew that I was deeply in sin. He knew that I had to get myself together in order. He realized, He saw that my life was just in shambles. And so me being isolated, it was for the betterment of my life. And now looking back, now it was for the best, because the only way that I could level up and make it to the next stage of my life was to stay by myself. And this was a very extended long-term thing for me. And we're talking about close to a decade. And for the first 4 or 5 years, I want to say the first 4 years, I wasn't getting it right. I was not being obedient to the stage of my life where I had to be isolated for God. And I truly do regret those times of not, quicker and sooner and earlier getting connected to the Most High and not getting into the Word sooner. I feel like now, currently in my life, I would be in a much better position had I chosen to walk with God earlier, had I chosen to take heed to my isolation season. You know what I'm saying? Things would have been a little bit different for me right now. You know, as I'm talking to you guys, my life probably would have looked a lot different. And so I had to fall behind because I was disobedient. And I can sit here on this camera and be accountable for my disobedience and be honest about it. Like, I had a lot of sin in me. I had a lot of infirmities, lasciviousness, and just curses that were plaguing my life that I had to take care of. So I'm really using the time now, and I've been using the time for a couple years to get over these generational curses, to free myself from sin, break certain bondages, overcome lust, etc. And that's all a spiritual process that we all have to go through at times. We all have to endure some type of spiritual labor. And how we endure spiritual labor is we got to go through isolation, right? We got to commit ourselves to the Most High. We got to give up ourselves to Him. We got to stop living in the flesh. We have to stop being prideful and egotistical. And we got to cut off certain people that no longer fit into our life, into our routine anymore. So, in order for us to begin that spiritual labor, because when we're going through spiritual labor, we cannot have any distractions. We can't. All distractions have to be cut off. They have to be cut off. And the reason that you may be isolated right now is because God wants to elevate you to the next level. But you first have to be obedient to the reason why God put you in isolation to begin with. Be obedient to the isolation that was put on your life by the Lord. And I'm sitting here telling you guys this because that was something I did not do when God placed me under isolation. And this was around for me like 2015. And I made the mistake of not being obedient, of being prideful, of not giving my life to Christ at all, trying to live for the world. And I was literally living backwards. And so I got my punishment. I was receiving a lot of punishment for, my disobedience. So, really making this video to give y'all that profound message and kind of learn from my mistake when it came to isolation. Don't do what I did. Don't be disobedient, because if you become disobedient to the Most High will punish you in certain ways that's going to make you uncomfortable. You're gonna really start to have a hard time when you're disobedient to Christ. When Christ starts taking people out of your life now, you got to really consider that and take that seriously and ask yourself, man, why did God remove all these people from my life? Now all of a sudden ain't nobody hitting me up, ain't nobody texting me, ain't nobody want to chill with me no more. The phone dry. I'm no longer important. Everything is just different now with folks that you used to hang around with and used to talk to. Family's distant from you. Family don't really fuck with you no more. Friends don't fuck with you no more. Nobody fuck with you no more. So you got to really take that into consideration. When that starts to happen, that's God putting you under isolation. That's the biggest sign that you are being placed under isolation by the Most High.